Folks, let's talk about the disaster, the how disaster. Now, what do I mean when I say the how disaster? It's really quite simple. There are always questions that we can ask. And if you go back 5,000 years ago to the book, the I Ching, the 5 questions that are asked following the constructive cycle, which follows the 5 elements, are the questions, and they're in this order: why, what, who, when, and how. Now, you'll notice that the final question in that is the how question. It's also the question that relates to the element metal, whereas the why question relates to the element water, which of course I'm surrounded with at the moment. You see, we are 70% water. The world is about 70% water, so therefore most of your questions you should be asking to get where you want to go are not how questions, they're why questions. So let's look at why we ask how. In fact, we were taught to ask how. And in fact, we were taught by very well-meaning people. And if you study the background of this, it goes right back to the 1850s when the education systems of the world were changed by people who wanted to dumb down populations and keep them working in the factories. And they got us to ask how questions. Now, if you think about it, you go to your accountant, you come up with this new great idea, you say to them, we're going to take our business from here to here, we're going to do it by doing this and this and this, and the accountant looks at you and goes, how are you going to do that? Suddenly you feel this small. Suddenly it's like being hit and chopped with a big metal axe. Whereas if they asked a more empowering question like, why would you want to do that? Oh, because this is where we want to go, this is the reasons. And then what would be the first thing that you could do that could be the first step on that journey? You see, if you change the question in life, you change the results in life. So forget the question how. In fact, scrap it out of your repertoire. If you're listening to this and you're one of our students or anybody who's been to any of our courses, you'll know that the how question is almost banned in our courses. Why? Because it gets us stuck. If you just want to change that how question to what is one thing I can do today? What is one thing I can do this week? Or what specifically can I do right now to move forward in the big questions that I have in my success? That will serve you a lot better. How is a disaster.